On deck, you scabrous dogs! Hands to braces! Let go and hold the run free! Now, bring me that horizon. And really bad eggs. Drink up, me hearties, yo-ho!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 13th episode of Bard Advice. Not Bard Advice, sorry, not Bard Advice, Rogue Bard Advice. See, I'm already going rogue. We are a D&D, TTRPG, and everything nerd podcast. I'd like to take this time to welcome everybody in. Our regulars, Amanda, Puffy Cheeto, Yukai, Ron, Ruby, Kirk, if River's here, River, Crimson Honda. Welcome in, everybody. Tonight's episode is going to be a little different because we're flying by the seat of our pants here, so to speak. Before we get into things, two things on the agenda. First thing, if you haven't already seen it, go over to the Man Shorts YouTube page and watch the video for Justin. They're making a movie. They're making a feature film. And they would like assistance in donations. They can't call it investment because you're not getting anything back from it, but you're donating to them helping make the movie. You're basically keeping the crew fed. They need money to keep the crew fed. So they're asking for about $10K. any bit helps, whether or not you can actually give money. And as Justin says this on the video, and I'm plugging this. I have no I have no affiliation with this whatsoever. I'm plugging it because I want to. Um, but they need 10K. But if you can't donate money, they said sharing out the video is perfectly fine. It just your support. Let's. We know these guys make excellent movies. Let's get them the support they need, guys. Also, thank you, Crimson. Remember to not only hit that like button if you like my content, hit the like button, share this video out there, subscribe. That way you get the little dingy notifications that I go live. And if you join the Discord, you don't have to hit that notifications button because the Discord will send you a ping cord and you get notified that we go live anyway. So, yeah. Also, if you want to help donate to this podcast, I don't necessarily need anything. But if you want to help the podcast and donate to the podcast, all of my socials are in my Venmo, my PayPal, my Cash App are in the description of the video. So, yeah. It got funded in 24 hours, so I didn't have to do that whole spiel. I did that whole spiel for nothing, Yukai. Jesus. Well, if you still would like to donate to their movie, by all means, donate to the movie. Wish they would have came out with a hey, we met our goal video. Anyway, the second thing I wanted to say is you see we're in a new location, and this is be the new location for the next two shows. This one and then following two shows. There will not be a show May 9th. I can't make that one possible. It's just going to be impossible. I'm going to be in the middle of the woods May 9th for the show. So, Kirk, you're going to have to paint your minis that night. Sorry. I didn't get the video update, Yukai. Jesus. Alright, whatever. I did not get the video update. Yeah, that still update because they don't have to stretch their goals. It's still a great cause, guys. But anyway, um, but as I was saying, this is the studio for the next three shows, and I am in Tallahassee, Florida. So if anybody who lives in the Tallahassee, Florida area, or within 2.5, 3 hours, 4 hours, heck, I don't know. I travel this state all the time. Used to live here. But only on the weekends. I can only do it on the weekends. Friday nights, Saturday night. Well, not Friday nights, obviously, because I got to be here doing this. But Saturday and Sundays. If anybody lives in the Tallahassee area or within 3 hours or 4 hours of Tallahassee, and you want to get a coffee, let me know. Shoot me up on the Discord. Ron's getting his head examined May 9th. Tall Hassle, yes. If you're a fan of the Xantha novels, it's Tall Hassle. Okay. Well, that's also I started, and I'm gonna do a little good things for the week this right now, just so I can get it out of the way. Not saying that there's not going to be any more good things for the week, but I'm in Tallahassee because I started my new job with FEMA. Well, my deployment with FEMA yesterday. Well, today. Today was my first day on the site. So, yay! All right. With that being said, also, please send your questions to roguebardadvice@gmail.com. And please, please try to get them in by Wednesday. I have two people who still are getting me questions Friday. I have no time to research it. Well, one person got it to me yesterday, but I was driving. I didn't have time to research it. But I still have one person who gets it to me every Friday, and he knows who he is, and his questions are up tonight, Wednesday, so I have time to research my answers. Anyway, it looks like Rogue Bard Dadvice at gmail.com. But with that being said, let's move on to Archaeology Corner. Now, this Archaeology Corner, I've been waiting for this Archaeology Corner to do this Archaeology Corner till somebody showed up. Because they specifically asked about this era. So I'm taking it back all the way to the first century AD. And it kind of progresses from what we were talking about into what we're going to talk about. We talked about agriculture, we talked about the wheel. Now we're going to be talking about the steam engine. Industrial archaeology, the steam engine. Now, everybody thinks that the steam engine came around about Fulton's time, right? Fulton's steam engine. It actually came around way earlier than that, and it was a gimmick. There is no evidence that the steam engine, the Heliopile, ever was used to do any work. What this was this cylinder was filled with water, and or the brass tube down here. No, it had to be the cylinder bowl up here. Was filled with water, and there was a fire lit underneath it. And once the water boiled, the steam would come out of the two arms and make that thing rotate. It was a simple steam engine, really, really simple. There is no evidence that this was used for any sort of work, like I was saying. There's no evidence to show that anybody put a pulley on it and used a rope system to try and move something else or do anything else with it. But this is the basis for boilers on ships when they first started going around. Puffy Cheeto, I've always been fascinated how the steam engines were invented before the Industrial Revolution, but that's the time period it's known best for. Yes, it is. Because the steam engine helped shuttle in the Industrial Revolution. While this is also known as the Hero engine, the Aeoliophile was known as Hero's engine, is considered the earliest known steam engine, is described by Hero of Alexandria, a Greek-Egyptian mathematician and engineer, in the 1st century AD. The device consisted of a hollow sphere mounted on a pair of hollow tubes, which allowed steam to escape through bent nozzles, causing the sphere to spin. This demonstrated the principles of rotary motion and steam propulsion. Interestingly, the concept of the Aeolipile may have been influenced by earlier work from Vitruvius, a Roman architect who mentioned similar devices in his writings around 30 to 20 BC. While the Aeolipile was more of a curiosity or a demonstration of mechanical principles rather than a practical tool, it laid the groundwork for understanding steam power. With that being said, Puffy Cheeto, this month, or as many episodes as we have for the next whatever, we'll be talking about the Industrial Revolution and the metamorphosis of the steam engine from this into your giant steam engine locomotives. I hope that gives you a little answer and some knowledge about the Industrial Revolution that you didn't already have before. With that being said, we are going to our first question. And our first question comes from a Chris. Matter of fact, it's Katz. And I don't know if Katz is in here tonight. I haven't seen him. But Katz asks or says, I have a DM who is fantastic at world building and storytelling. However, he tends to go full out with his imagination to the point we lose the plot. For example, we have had to essentially re-roll characters due to them getting cursed, morphed, etc. every session for the last 3 sessions. What can I do to help redirect things back to normal? Well, thanks for the question there, Chris. I think we had a similar question when Chaz was hosting Bard Advice. Um, and we'll get to the comments in the chat because I'm pretty sure the chat's got some ways for you to bring normalcy back to your game. But I have a few things also. So and they again coming back from Bard Advice. Share your feedback constructively to the DM. Acknowledge your DM's talents for world building and storytelling. You probably already do. He sounds fantastic at it. Frame it as a desire for the story to shine through madness. For instance, we love the world you've created, but we're having a tough time connecting to it because the constant character changes make it hard to invest in. Okay? Maybe he gets the picture there. If not, propose narrative goals. Suggest focusing on a central storyline or major arc to keep everyone grounded. Perhaps remind your DM that character development happens over time, and too many drastic changes can overshadow the overarching plot. This is why, Katz, I told you I would answer this question this week because you said it to me 2 weeks ago, and I needed time to formulate this. You always also want to keep things positive. Don't go after your DM with a lot of negative stuff. Keep it positive. You don't want to throw your DM off track, and you don't want to throw your DM off their game. Set boundaries together. Collaborative, defined limits for how much chaos and world building detail is reasonable. For instance, agree that curses and transformations can happen occasionally, but should be part of the bigger story rather than random obstacles. Offer to help. If the DM is open to it, offer to help brainstorm ways to incorporate their imaginative ideas without derailing the plot. For example, a curse could create a side quest where your party finds a cure instead of forcing you to reroll characters. This is called railroading the DM. DMs do it to players all the time. They railroad players into the direction that you want them to go. You as players need to railroad your DM into the direction you want the story to go. Now, it'll only work if your DM doesn't know you're doing it. Otherwise, more curses, more bad stuff, more everything. And that's my roguish advice for that. Railroad the DM. And then finally, suggest periodic check-ins. Encourage your group to pause every few sessions to discuss what's working well and what can be tweaked. This ensures everyone feels heard and helps align expectations. Now, I know for a fact we have discussed the same thing on Bard Advice. So take it with you. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it from a rogue. Go listen to that episode of Bard Advice and see what the comments from the chat, because there was a lot more viewers in the chat there than there is here. But I'm sure the chat's got some things to say, and I've been seeing the chat roll. So let's go to see what the chat. They are talking. I would pull. So Amanda would pull the DM aside and have a chat with them. Don't downplay the world and story that they have built, but that you would really love getting further through the story. That's perfect, Amanda. Ron, stop exposing low-level characters to high-level monsters. Yeah, yeah, but if you're a level one Aarakocra or Aarakocra whatever cleric, and you are fighting a Tarask, and you have uh, Radiant Light or whatever that spell is, and you just fly around the Tarask, I mean, you'll be a high level. You'll be a level 20 character in freaking what 100 moves. I mean, just saying. XP does build up. My question: have you played other sessions with this DM? Maybe the last three are special purpose, and chaos will subside. Three crazies after six normals, followed by six normals. Not so bad. That's a question for Cats. If you want, Kirk, we can put that question in the Discord. Hopefully, Cats gets on the Discord and answers it. Maybe we can have a follow up next week. That's an excellent follow up question. Amanda has again pulled the other players together to talk about how everyone feels the adventure is going. Maybe trying to not get so distracted with side quests, so more time can be devoted to main story. Yep, absolutely. And Jake's railroading is always great. Always do it. Yep, that's the rogue advice. Railroad your DM into doing what you, the players, want to do. The DM will eventually just toss up his hands and give up and give in. But not give up being a DM. Just give in to your guys' whims and wills. Yukai, or maybe see if the changes can be more spread out. One of our DMs does crazy changes, but he keeps it to certain levels, i.e., every 3 levels or 5 levels, etc. Yeah, yeah, do that, but not 3 sessions. Not every session you have to you get cursed or morphed or nerfed or TPK'd and you have to draw up a new character. That is kind of, if you want to do that, just build one shots. Tell your DM, if you want us to build characters every freaking session and you're going to TPK us every session, then just do one shots. Don't do a whole campaign. One shots are perfect for that. And maybe that's where your DM is lying. Where, and by lying I mean laying, where he fits in more. I mean, he's great at building world. You say he's great at building worlds of storytelling, but is it a constant story? Is it a campaign? Or does he change the story every session? That's what you also got to look into. Are there other players more interested in playing one shots, or are they interested in playing a full on 6-8 month campaign? Anyway, well, I hope that answered your question, Chris. Uh, but it's time to move on. We have quite a few questions to get to today, and the next question is from Amanda. Yay, Amanda! Hi, Pirate. I was casually watching some episodes of the show Vikings, and it had me wondering something. How much historical accuracy do you think shows like Vikings, Black Sails, etc. have? Have a great weekend. Puffy Cheeto, Amanda. Well, thank you for the question, Amanda. And I have not seen Vikings. However, I have seen all 4 seasons of Black Sails. A couple weeks back, I mentioned I had watched Black Sails, and I binge watched all 4 seasons. It took me like 3 days to watch all 4 seasons, but with that, I can tell you this: Black Sails takes liberties with history, and I'll explain here. Shows like Vikings and Black Sails, fascinating blend of history and creative storytelling. That's all they are. History and creative storytelling. They have taken liberties with the stories. They aim to entertain while drawing inspiration from real events. Now, not exactly real events, just like Braveheart wasn't a real story, or wasn't a real event William Wallace was not a real person. Well, William Wallace may have been a real person, but what he did in Braveheart didn't actually happen. That was taking liberties. Vikings, well, it incorporates historical figures like Ragnar Lothbrok and events such as the raid of Lindisfarne. It compresses timelines and mixes myth with reality. For example, Ragnar's existence is debated, and characters like Lithurga are based on sagas rather than historical records. The show also invents places like Kattegat, which is actually a sea, not a village. Black Sails series intertwines historical pirates like Blackbeard and Charles Vane with fictional characters from Treasure Island. While it captures the spirit of the golden age of piracy, many events and relationships are fictionalized or altered for narrative purposes. Now, with Black Sails happens 20 years before the events of Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. Okay? Uh, the main captain in Black Sails, what's his name? What is his name? It's Fassbender's character, Michael Fassbender's character, Captain Flint. I'm sorry, he's not even Michael Fassbender. It's Toby Stevens. Um, but Captain Flint is only mentioned in the prologue of Treasure Island. The whole Treasure Island is Lon John still is Silver and Billy's story. That's it. Black Sails took extreme liberties with inventing a story around Captain Flint. So while the stuff happened in the Caribbean, in the Bahamas, in Nassau, um, in the colonies, transporting goods and stuff like that, while that stuff did happen, none of the actual characters in there, except for some of the pirates, Blackbeard, Charles Vane, Calico Jack, the two women at the end of the series, spoiler alert, if you haven't already gotten there, who join Calico Jack at the end, that is Anne Bonny and Mary Read. Anne Bonny is the one that joins them, or Anne Bonny is the one that the female character that's been there the entire time. Mary Read is the one who joins at the end. Sorry for the spoiler alerts. If you haven't seen it, it shouldn't be a spoiler. Dang Thing was out 6 years ago. So, anyway, I gotta see Vikings. It's a great show, and I've seen it through multiple times. Okay, I prefer my Vikings like how Kung Fury did it. I haven't seen Kung Fury. Common history has often taken liberties with real history. Deep research often shines a different light on deeds of the past. Yes, absolutely. Even with Pirates of the Caribbean, it's liberties taken with things. Jack Sparrow was actually based on a real pirate. Not his name wasn't Jack Sparrow. His name was John something. Um, uh, Based on combination of historical figures, real life inspirations, and fictional elements. Primary inspiration is to believe to be the real pirate John Ward. Um, so there you go. Even Pirates of the Caribbean takes liberties with storytelling. Titanic took liberties with storytelling. Okay, Jack and whatever, that Jack and Rose, they were never aboard the Titanic. Those were characters created for the movie to make the movie interesting. But was the Dread Pirate Roberts based on a historical character? No, that was pure fiction. That was pure, unadulterated, glorious fiction. So glorious, it's inconceivable. But I do hope that answers your question. It was a great question. I loved that question. Um, but yeah, with that, we have more questions to get to. Pity it's all in a kissing book. Yeah, yeah. Though you should have knew something was up because Columbo was reading the book. I'm just saying. There's no worse kinds of book. And one more thing. There's only one other movie based on a book that should ever get mentioned, and that is NES. If you know, you know. And I want to know who knows what NES is in the chat. And you could give me you could give me a name of a character in the movie based on a book, or you could just tell me what the movie is. We've got time. We will wait. Yes, Atreyu. Atreyu. You could have gone with Atreyu. You could have gone with Falcor. You could have gone with freaking Bastion. You could have gone with Moon Queen, or what is her name? Moon something. That's what Bastion yells out. But it's the never-ending story. So yes, but that's what the '80s. Every movie in the '80s was based on a book or had a book in it. I mean, even into the '90s. I mean, you had the live action animated. I mean, for its time, it was pretty good going from live action to animation. But the Page Master. When's the last time you've heard anybody talk about the Page Master with Macaulay Culkin? Come on. Nintendo Entertainment System. Yes. Anyway, it's 33 after the hour. We've been on here 33 minutes now, and we've got a few more things to get to. So, our next question does not come from Amanda. We already asked Amanda's question. Comes from my favorite last minute procrastinator, Kirk. Kirk writes, "Yes, I know this is last minute. No, crikey, mate. Last minute, my piratey butt. Can't help myself. Yes, you can. I know. I also know that pirates are canonically biased towards rum. But what style of alcohol is the earliest that we are sure of? Now, if you were in the Discord earlier today, I asked you guys to choose between this question and the second follow-up question that is right here, or a archaeology argument around a fire question, around a campfire. And you guys chose this. So, what style of alcohol is the earliest that we are sure of? Well, Kirk, that just happens to be 7,000 to 6650 BC in Jiahu, China, where chemical analysis revealed traces of mixed fermented drink made from grapes, hawthorn berries, honey, and rice. So basically a rice wine, a fruity rice wine. It's considered the oldest evidence of purposeful alcohol production. Now, this is the earliest evidence of purposeful alcohol production is 7,000 to 6650 BC. Okay. As for contenders without definitive evidence, which is your second part of the question, if there is a debate about the first alcohol, what may have been the first sans evidence? What are the contenders? Naturally fermented fruit, fruit that is in like a jar or a vase or a bowl or something that was filled with like rainwater or something and left out in the sun that's naturally fermenting and rotting and stuff. Early humans and primates likely consumed fermenting fruits, which could be considered nature's accidental alcohol. Uh, Dolphins get drunk or high, one or the other, off of puffer fish. Sorry, Puffy Cheeto. Uh, Beer-like brews. Some researchers propose that humans began cultivating grains for beer rather than bread, suggesting beer may have been a driving force behind agriculture. Why did I sound like freaking Pauly Shore right there? Agriculture. Anyway, cacao wine in Mesoamerica. Cacao wine was made from fermented cacao pulp, dating back to around 1400 BCE. So that's even what 50 to 150 years after the Jiahu China. Yes, prison wine. Nope, mead, beer. Beer was not the first. Neither was mead. It was wine. Fermented fruits, rice wine. Yep. Beer. I was expecting beer too, Kirk, but um, Sumerian beer. Here's your beer. The hymn in Ninkasi, a Sumerian goddess, contains the world's oldest beer recipe dating to 1800 BCE. Now, if you go to Germany and you go to a monastery in, let me get it for you. Da, 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 da. No, it's not there. It's where is it? Anyway, there's a German monastery. There's a monastery in Germany that you have to climb the stairs to the monastery, and um, it's 300-year-old recipe. So I'm trying to find it. I actually have a liter jug from there. No, 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 no. I'll get it. I'll find it for next week, and I will let you guys know. But you could go there. You could purchase 300 year, basically 300-year-old monk wine or monk beer. It's really good. Um, Almost like High Rothgar. But Ron, I do hope the Epic of Gilgamesh is Sumerian. Is it not? Da, da, da. Yeah, the literary history of Gilgamesh begins with 5 Sumerian poems about Gilgamesh. So that tracks. But the Gilgamesh is between 2100 and 1200 BCE. So the oldest recipe, the oldest Sumerian recipe is 1800 BCE, which is what, 300 years, 400 years after the Epic of Gilgamesh was started in 2100 BCE. So, yeah, that tracks. That tracks. All right. Well, Kirk, I hope that answered your question. And next week, we will discuss what archaeologists get into fist fights over around a campfire. This is a real easy question. Wish it was answered tonight, but no. You guys wanted beer and rum. All right. This is our brackets. As you can see, we now have robots, hoplites, elves, werewolves, deranged gods, Hellman's mayonnaise, all making it into the second round. I also want to give a shout out to Buffy. Who won? Who won the basketball championship? Was it Houston or was it Florida? I think it was Florida. The Gators. Give a shout out to the Gators. I don't really like the Gators. I like Florida State. Go Florida State. But Puffy Cheeto made it all the way to the Final Four with her pick for Houston. So congratulations to Puffy Cheeto. I was out. I was out after round two because my UConn Huskies didn't win. However, the UConn Huskies did win the women's basketball championship. So was I looking at the men's stuff or was I doing the women's stuff? I don't know. I didn't even know the women's championships were going on. But congratulations to the UConn Huskies women's basketball team and the Florida Gators. Boo. Okay, people. I've thought that a history of cultures focused on how they were shaped by their alcohols would be interesting. Yes, yes, yes. But cultures and histories and cultures weren't necessarily shaped by alcohol. Alcohol is a byproduct. I mean, marriage, marriage is what shaped cultures and histories. Sorry, Little Princess Bride moment. Uh, Jake picked the Gators to win. Okay, okay. The Cougars put their all in and they lose by 2 points was crushing here. Yeah. I look. Tampa Bay crushed my spirit last year, losing to the Chiefs by 3 points. Um, yeah. So I feel you. I feel you, Amanda. See, Puffy Cheeto made it all the way to the Final Four bracket. I bet you it wasn't a perfect bracket, but you did have Florida and Houston in the finals. All right. Well, with that, I want to give everybody the results of the Dukes versus Hellman's poll. We have Dukes in the Discord poll. We have Dukes losing 29% to Hellman's 71%. Now, this is a little misguided, right? More people in the Discord need to vote because only 2 people voted for Dukes and 5 people voted for Hellman's. That was it. That was all the votes. We have how many people in the Discord? There needs to be more people voting in the Discord polls, or else I'm going to start culling the Discord. The simulations out of 100 was Duke's 52% and Hellman's 48% in the simulations. Now, here is the simulation. Out of the 52 battles, out of the 100 battles scenario, 52 battles, Duke's tangy and bold flavor consistently wins over tasters who prefer a distinct savory profile. Its rich texture gives it an edge in creating standout dishes, especially for Southern style cooking. Fans of robust flavors find Duke's hard to beat. And the 48 battles that Hellman's won was because of its versatility and balanced taste appeal to a broader audience. In dishes requiring subtlety or a neutral base, it shines brightly. Its lighter texture and hint of sweetness makes it a strong competitor in recipes with delicate flavor profiles. The outcome: Duke's narrowly edges out Hellman's in this close competition. Its strong, tangy personality wins over just enough hearts to take the crown. But Hellman's adaptability makes it a fierce contender. Ultimately, the winner really comes down to personal preference, as both are mayo powerhouses. And if you want to add a little zing to your mayo powerhouse, the only difference between mayo and Miracle Whip, and I want to get on camera when I say this, the only difference between mayo and Miracle Whip, or Duke's and Miracle Whip, or Blue Plate and Miracle Whip, whatever mayo of your choice, and Miracle Whip is the addition of paprika. Those are the little red specks in the Miracle Whip. They claim Miracle Whip is a salad dressing, but it's just mayonnaise with paprika. I will die on that hill. I'm putting Kai. I'm putting the polls in the Discord the night that I put the night that the show airs. And it's being put into the main Discord chat. But Tletna, you guys here in the chat also vote in the Discord. That's it. There are 9 viewers here in the chat. There were 7 votes in the Discord. So I could any paprika, Ruby, whether it's Spanish paprika, whether it's roasted paprika, whether it's smoked paprika. I don't know. It's just paprika. It's just regular paprika. You're not southern enough to die on any mayonnaise hill. No. Don't get me wrong, Kirk. I like mayonnaise. I don't like Miracle Whip. I will eat Miracle Whip, but it's not my favorite. And for the longest time, I didn't even eat mayonnaise. Okay, I thought it gross. Growing up, I thought mayonnaise was gross. But after growing up, like I used to not eat Brussels sprouts. I found a recipe for Brussels sprouts that are roasted Parmesan um, garlic Brussels sprouts. Phenomenal. Chef's kiss, phenomenal. But I used to not eat asparagus. I got a recipe for garlicky Parmesan asparagus. It's kind of like Chili's garlicky Parmesan green beans, only with asparagus instead of green beans. But we're getting off topic there. Uh, but no. I will not die for eating Miracle Whip. I will die on the hill saying that the only difference between mayonnaise and Miracle Whip is the addition of the paprika. That's it. And that is not salad dressing. It's still a mayo alternative. Roasted, buttered, salted Brussels sprouts are yum. Amanda, you do have issues. And maybe that's why I'm a poke a little fun, Amanda. Don't get twisted. But maybe that's why your ingrown toenail turned into something else, because you eat mayonnaise straight from the jar. Anyway, I am glad that your toe is that your feet are better. Um, we all give our condolences to your mother. Sorry to hear that. Also, um, but yeah, you take care of yourself, and if you ever have the need, and River too, I don't know where you've been for the last 2 weeks. 3 week. No, the last time I saw that, the last time you posted anything in the Discord was the 30th of March. So wherever you've been for the last 2 weeks, just give us a shout. Check in. I get worried when people just go poof and don't check in, especially people who this chat and this podcast and Bard Advice and the Discord all care about. So, what's going on? Puffy Cheetos is probably, yeah, that's the reason her foot's got. See, I thought you broke your foot. I thought maybe you because my dad would walk and he would break metatarsals in his foot just by walking. So I thought maybe you had twisted your ankle or broken your foot or something like that. I didn't know it was an ingrown toenail that had to be that the toe had to be amputated off. I don't know if the toe had to be amputated off, but the toenail itself probably had to be amputated. Ruby has 5 different paprikas at home. She can't use sodium, aka salt, so I have over 100. Wait. 5 ones at home. So at 100, but you need to explain that there, Ruby. Colette Sellums goes on the Discord. That's why I would like to vote on here. If I could poll on here, I could. But I don't know how to run a poll on YouTube. So, maybe if somebody takes down your answer, I can authorize multiple answers or multiple votes on the polls in the Discord, and somebody can vote for you. This is not an election. There is no voter fraud. Gods, you take 10 a day, long break from social media and people and every river. Yes, at least say you're taking a 10-day long break from social media, and we won't get worried about you. Okay? You missed it. I'm in the Tallahassee of Florida. Don't call me Worm, Jake. The only person who could call me Worm is River. You taking another 10-day long break from social media? $100 spices. Okay. 100 spices. I get you. I have plenty of spice. I have I probably have the same amount. Okay. Well, as long as you let us know, we're not going to be worried about you. Okay. But I am glad you're here because we haven't done this part of Rogue Advice yet. We haven't actually said what our next banter brigade is going to be. And you're going to like this one because this one's just for you, River. Our second to last, our penultimate banter brigade for round 1 is not that. It's the False Hydra versus the Ancient Eldritch Horror. Who wins in the battle of the False Hydra versus the Ancient Eldritch Horror? Horror. But we will come to that next week. The poll will be up in the Discord. And for those who want to vote here, I guess we could take somebody's vote in here. But that will be next week. We will find out who wins that battle. And then we will have left the last group of round 1. And I left it for last because it's pirates versus ninjas. But don't get it twisted. We're doing False Hydra versus Ancient Eldritch Horror this week. So just slow your rolls, people. pirates and ninjas are last for round one. There can be only one. Oh, you know what, River? I forgot. Highlanders. We're gonna have to do this again. We're gonna have to do this again. Highlanders. We've got freaking aliens. We've got predators. We've got. Send me another list of versus battles because I want to do another bracket, and then the winners of those two brackets will battle. We'll battle it out. I mean, all right. Here, see, we didn't have Cthulhu on here. Uh, Ancient Eldritch Horror, easy. Cthulhu is my daddy. Yes, but Ancient Eldritch Horror isn't a Cthulhu. I gotta go False Hydra just because I'm tired of Eldritch Horrors. Okay. False Hydra is overhyped in this group. Vote Ancient Eldritch Horror. Look, the only reason False Hydra is even mentioned is because it's River's favorite creature. And he says as much. As much as I love False Hydras, Eldritch Horrors win. Always. Okay. False Pirates versus Eldritch Ninjas? No, absolutely not. But what if they were Ninja Pirates or Pirate Ninjas? No. Adjective ninjas win over everything. No, they absolutely not. Because a pirate can shoot the ninja. The ninjas aren't that fast. This isn't Naruto. Eldritch Horror is better. Love the Lovecraftian creature base. Okay. If they were really ninja, who would you know they participated in the first place? Or would you know they participated in the first place? Probably not. And River is his favorite homebrew monster. Yes, the False Hydra is River's favorite homebrew monster. And guess what, guys? We made an hour. We are now in Chat Chat. Let's talk about everybody's good things for the week. My good thing for the week is I'm back home. And by home, I mean the state of Florida, not Oklahoma, where I live. This is where I grew up. I go east 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes. I'm in Jayville. And if Chaz is in the chat or listens, message me or you have my number. I've messaged it to you before. Just text me. I've got Disney 3 hours south of me. I've got Pirate Fashions 4 hours south of me in Tampa. I'm thinking about going there tomorrow. I've got my house that I grew up in 4.5 hours southeast of here. So yeah, I'm pretty set. Anybody wants to meet up for coffee, for lunch, whatever, let me know. I'll be here for an undetermined amount of time. I'm not going anywhere in the next 30 days at least. So, well, I take that back. May 9th, 10th, 11th, I will be in New London, North Carolina for the Norse Forge Gathering 5. It's the fifth gathering. Go to the website, norseforgegathering.com. If you want a day pass, if you live close enough, get the day passes. They're running low on the all access passes, which are the 9th through the 11th. I got mine back in February, so I'm good. But with that being said, come out and have fun. Come meet me in North Carolina if you're in the area. Or come meet me here in Florida. Or tell me where you're at. I'll drive to you. I don't have a problem with that. But with that being said, let's see what else is what everybody's do. Kirk says do. Isn't the False Hydra an Eldritch Horror? I asked that question earlier, Ron, when somebody asked me a question about if an ancient eldritch horror or an ancient eldritch horror ate one of my memories, ate one of my favorite memories, which memory would it have been? And I asked, doesn't that make the ancient eldritch horror a False Hydra? And I got the answer of no. They are two different creatures. So, Tiletna's good thing for the week is that it's done with work week. Cool. You're 14 hours south of me. Easy drive. Come up here. No, that's the same amount of drive that I did from Oklahoma to here. Not the same. That's a 2 day. That's a at least a 3 day trip. One day to get up there, I could do it in 1 day. 1 day to visit, and then 1 day to drive back. That's an easy 3 hour drive or 3 day drive. Sorry, Jake. Just let me know if you're gonna ever be in Portland, Oregon area, especially if on the west side of Metro Pirate. Possibly. So with my job, I get deployed to natural disaster areas to help out with paperwork and public assistance grants and stuff like that. That's what I do. So if there's ever a disaster in the Portland, Oregon area, or like the Seattle, Washington area, let's just say Mount St. Helens erupts again and creates another natural disaster, I may end up going there. Maybe, maybe not. I have no idea. I've got a friend of mine who's going to California, who's going to Los Angeles. Um, Speaking of, where's Chris? Where's the guy from the desert? We haven't seen him forever either. He popped into the Discord. I know I'm off topic, but he popped into the Discord once this week, just to say, just to pop in and say he's still alive. But I got a friend of mine going to Los Angeles for the California wildfires disaster. So yeah, it's possible. Good things this week sucked. LOL. Oh, good things this week sucked. Really? That's a good thing? Last week, mine and hubby had third anniversary, 9 years together. Yes, and if you watched the show last Friday or last Friday's episode, you will have seen that I and the rest of the chat had wished you a happy anniversary. Because I mentioned that because you and I are Facebook friends. So, but yeah, congratulations on the 9 years together, 3 years of marriage. Your brother and sister all had their 13th, and your parents had their 50th, all within days together. What'd you guys do? Go get the family special at Red Lobster or Cheddar's? Good thing of the week. I am not a gardener, but noticed that one of the 3 hyssop plants I planted in the late fall made it through the winter. Awesome. The river, when a false hydra eats you, everyone you know forgets about you as though you didn't exist. A memory eater is something very different. Yes. My wife had her baby this week. Congratulations on being a father, Crimson Honda. Kirk Wagner, I did a 2-day trip to Florida, 14 hours each way to see a space shuttle launch. That was a hard drive, but worth it. Yeah. Well, I did a 1-hour drive to see the space shuttle launch. I lived about half hour, 45 minutes south of the Cape. So I know how hard of a drive it can be, Kirk. Sorry, I had to. Anywho, I need to head out. I'll be lurky again for a bit, so don't panic. Have a good one. Everybody stay safe out there. River, you stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, play video games, do all that good crap, and check in once in a while. That's all we ask. I did watch the show earlier this week. Just only good things I could think of. Okay. But yeah, safe travels, River. Safe. Stay safe. Ruby made it through the week. Have a ton more tests to do now. I'm sorry to hear that, Ruby. Tweak received. Grumble. Tweak received. What did you? Oh, tweak. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I grew up here. Now, if they had launched the space shuttles in Maryland, then we'd be a different story. You would be an hour away from the Cape. From the Cape. So, no babies, just birthday. Did I read that wrong? I had to have read that wrong. I saw baby. I had a listic moment. I am sorry. Happy birthday to your wife. No babies though. River had a good social media break. Better see you in 10 days. Yes, yes. He's already gone, Puffy, or he's lurking. He's a river lurker. Hope the tests have good or useful results. Yes, yes, we do. Ruby, we do hope that your tests have good or useful results. Well, guys, we made it. We made it to the end of the treacherous 13th episode of Rogue Bard Advice, or Rogue Advice. Congratulations. We have done it. 13 episodes in. With that being said, I want to remind everybody to continue to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, join the Discord. Those of you who are in the chat are probably already in the Discord. But join the Discord and have fun. I want to mention, send your questions to me Wednesday. I'm looking at you, Kirk. Wednesday. It gives me a day to do research and write things. It doesn't give me an hour to do things, especially if I have problems today turning on my desktop. For some reason, it would not. I gotta fix something. But it's Rogue Bard Advice. It looks like Rogue Bard Dadvice at gmail.com. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And take what you want. Give nothing back. I am your host, the Pirate Archaeologist. I didn't say that. I didn't say that at the beginning. Pirate Archaeologist, Rogue, Pirate, Chris, bidding you all a happy weekend.